Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the February 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. I now call the meeting to order. Please be advised that FATV is conducting an audio and video recording in progress of this meeting for public broadcast. I ask that anyone else in the audience who is recording this meeting to please identify themselves for the record now by standing and stating your name and city of residence. Seeing none, and I will ask our non-existent audience to place all electronic devices in silent mode so that we all may enjoy each other's company. At this time, I'd like to open the meeting by reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Byrne, could you lead us, please?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, Mr. Byrne. So for the benefit of those watching tonight, we are so pleased to have our new member sitting in on this meeting tonight, Mr. Rob Talbot. I look forward to enjoying your company for many years on the board. And I appreciate very much your willingness to serve the city in this fashion. And I would again invite all those interested in serving on the zoning board to apply. We do have another prospective member tonight, and I hope he enjoys this meeting and joins us in the future. At this point in time, we are going to start the meeting. We are anticipated to have a short meeting tonight. There were a number of matters that were rescheduled from our meeting last week due to the expected snowstorm. Most of these are not able to be heard tonight because of our requirement of publishing notice at least 14 days in advance of the first hearing on a matter. Therefore, our matters are going to be are limited to 5, of which I don't think any will appear. So the first matter I'm going to call is ZBA 2022-30. This is 80 South Street. This is a review of a special permit. We did have a communication from the permit holder requesting a continuance and of the review, and they have asked to remove the ZBA meeting date from February to March. I will note that that is not possible because we have a very, very full agenda for March, so it would need to, if moved, be moved to the April meeting. Does anyone have any comment on this before we move to a motion on the continuance?
How many times has this been continued, Madam Chair?
I believe this is the second request for a continuance of the review. The last time the permit holders were before us, I believe it was in December. Might have been November, though.
If I recall correctly, we were asked to visit the property and give an inspection to see if some of the conditions that we had levied on him were taken care of. Is that correct?
This is 80 South Street. This is the former...
I thought we were talking about
80 South Street. So
80 South Street. We'll
yes,
get to that in a minute.
Different matter. So this, the last issue, and I don't think we've reviewed and determined all of the conditions were satisfied. There was a concern that the paint color was not historically accurate, and I did speak with our member, Mr. Gallagher, and he felt he reached a good resolution with the property owner on painting the skirt board in an accurate color. So as to maintain the historical character of the property. That being said, as a board, we've not fully reviewed the conditions. So where we are holding the certificate of occupancy, I would prefer we have a full review with the permit holder here to release that certificate of occupancy and deem the conditions satisfied. Otherwise, we can't have any questions. Yes, Mr. McLaughlin?
I did have an opportunity, and Mr. Byrne, to visit the site with Mr. Gallagher, and they gave us a very extensive tour of what they had done. So we'll give you some feedback, I guess, probably at the next meeting
That's
when
fine.
everybody's here, so, but great job.
I can't say enough good things about the way that the property owner has conducted itself in the restoration and development of that property. I'm so pleased that they chose to invest in the community. Do we have a motion on the request for the continuance?
I'll make the motion on ZBA 2022-30 for KMR2 Realty, 80 South Street, for continuance in April 9th, 2024.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? That passes unanimously. The next matter on our agenda is ZBA 2022-17. This is for 69 High Street, Jeffrey Summers. This is a review of the special permit to operate a sober home, but a lodging house, with a reasonable accommodation as needed under the Fair Housing Act. This is a special permit that was granted with the conditions, and we are here to review the conditions. I will note that the conditions were required to be fulfilled within 12 months of the date of the decision. The decision was filed with the city clerk on February 6, 2023. The permit holder was offered the opportunity for inspection, and by inspection I mean a walkthrough by board members to review compliance with the conditions, and he imposed conditions and then refused the walkthrough by the board members and the building commissioner. I'm going to ask Mr. Commissioner if you have any comment on that. Do you agree that's an accurate summary?
Yes, it is. Just the nature of the comment that the condition that he made, the most recent one. First he said he wanted all of the members to be present for the walkthrough, at which time I told him that would be a public meeting that has to be posted. Once there's a quorum, it has to be a public meeting, that the intent was for a couple of the members to come and then report back to the board, so that it wasn't a posted public meeting, because then we otherwise have to invite the public as well, which if he'd like to do, we can do as well. He then said that we had asked for the meeting at 2:30 on Tuesday, because that's when the board members were able to make it, and I had sent him the message at 3:30 on Sunday. And he said, after I told him that that it would just be the two board members and myself, he said that he needs at least 48 hours notice.
Okay.
And I did inform him about tonight's hearing as well in that email, and he asked me if he should attend or not. And I told him that the chair was going to be passing along his request, but there are no promises or guarantees that the board will approve that, and that the choice is his whether he comes, but my suggestion is for him to come.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Appreciate it. Ms. Mata, we had a communication from Mr. Summers requesting a continuance, and I believe the request stated that, I'll just read it out. Thank you. On February 4th, Mr. Summers sent a request that states, I'm writing to you to request that my hearing in front of the Fitchburg ZBA regarding 69 High Street, Fitchburg, Mass., scheduled for Tuesday, February 13th, 2024 at 6 p.m. be postponed until the following month so that my lawyers and I can further research my case. Jeff, thank you. Much appreciated. The first thing I'd like to take up tonight is I did, in fact, offer to put it before the board as to whether or not they would like to continue the review hearing today. So if any member would like to offer a motion on the review, a motion on the continuance, in the affirmative.
I'll make a motion to grant a continuance.
Okay, do we have a second?
Yeah, I'll second.
Any discussion on the motion?
I'd like to move ahead
Okay,
tonight.
all right. All those in favor of granting a continuance to the March meeting or thereafter? Aye. All those opposed? Nay?
Nay.
Nay.
I think I'm an aye.
You're an aye? Okay, very good. So that is a 4-1. The continuance fails. So we're going to move forward tonight on the review of the special permit conditions. And I may, Mr. Commissioner, ask just to confirm my understanding. The first condition is that the occupancy shall be limited to 12 persons to create a living environment of one person per bedroom, defined as one room with a closet which is not accessible only through another bedroom. The petitioner may seek to increase the number of persons by modification of this special permit if petitioner creates more bedrooms on the premises, with such property modifications to be properly permitted and constructed in accordance with all municipal, state, and federal law. Mr. Commissioner, do you have any verification that that condition has been met?
No, but if I could, Madam Chairman, make a comment. I also have no verification that the decision has been recorded yet.
Okay, thank you, which was another issue at the prior meeting. Condition number 2, the kitchen to be upgraded to commercial standards, which is generally defined as the installation of kitchen appliances in good working order, which are sufficient in size and number to service the residents on the premises, and of durable quality, such as those intended for use in a commercial application. Mr. Commissioner, am I correct in understanding there have been no building permits issued and no photographs submitted or inspection conducted, which verifies the existence of the upgrade?
Correct.
Thank you. Condition number 3, renovations to be completed within 12 months from the date of the decision. That was 12 months expired February 6, 2024. Condition 4, applicants' outstanding fines are to be paid within 12 months from the date of this decision. At the time of the decision, there was $5,800 in fines to the building department that was under an agreement for, or not an agreement, but a statement that they would be paid in a monthly amount. Mr. Commissioner, have those been paid?
To the best of my knowledge, we haven't received anything.
Okay, thank you. In addition to that, there is a pending contempt judgment in the housing court that there was a daily fine of $50 accruing on. I think it's been a year and a half on that, in addition to the original fines. And my review of the court docket prior to this meeting indicated that that had not been resolved. Condition 5, applicant shall reduce the number of occupants to no more than 12 persons unless a modification is granted within 12 months from the date of this decision. That goes back to the first condition, which was reviewed as unsatisfied. A review date, the building, health, and fire department inspections to be completed annually as a condition of the continuation of the special permit. I believe that the applicant stated that at least some of those inspections had been completed in November. I'm also going to note that there is an outstanding violation notice dated November 9th, 2023, due to a collapsing exterior stairway, and that indicated that at the time of inspection there were 19 beds in use, a third of which were on the third floor, which is serviced by that stairway. And then the sunset clause would have the special permit expire upon the transfer or sale of the property from Jeffrey Summers or Jeffrey's House, Inc. I have no indication that there's been a transfer. And I'm going to note that, as with all of our special permit decisions, We have the condition that this special permit may be revoked or modified if the Zoning Board of Appeals finds after the hearing that the grantee has violated any of the conditions imposed by the special permit. That is also something inherent in the statutory scheme. I am going to call for public comment, but I am going to note that we have no one before us tonight. I am also going to state that I am looking on our virtual attendees, and I see no one who has attended virtually. Would any board member like to make a comment on this review? Go ahead,
Madam
Mr.
Chair,
Byrne.
I feel that we should revoke this permit. The applicant has done nothing but aggravate the board, and he hasn't shown us any respect whatsoever as to showing up for meetings or constantly dragging his feet and not getting things done. And as mentioned, none of the conditions that were supposed to be done were done. I make a recommendation that we pull his permit.
Thank you, Mr. Byrne. Mr. Reynolds, any comment?
Yes. Perhaps just more of a reflection. In my experience, I would agree with you, Mr. Byrne, that the applicant hasn't really been willing to work with us. It seems very controversial at every step, which I don't understand the reasons. I just understand the outcome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Mr. Talbot, would you like to ask a question? Well, only of the other board members, or make a comment? You're not required to.
No, not at this time.
Okay, thank you, sir. And Mr. McLaughlin, any comment?
Thank you, Madam Chair. At the last meeting regarding this specific case, the applicant pretty clearly stated, as we went through the conditions, that he didn't feel they needed to be done, nor did he give the implication that he was going to do them. He did make some comments that some things had been done, but I don't believe, if I recall correctly, that he really elaborated on any specifics or provided any concrete proof. This case has been going on for a long time, and it doesn't seem like it's progressed. If we've been able to, have the applicant get to a point where, they've done any of what the board has asked. So, kind of the same viewpoint of Mr. Byrne.
Okay. And I'm just going to, before we move forward, state that I had hoped that the permit holder would seek compliance with the condition, given that a special permit was granted to him, and that the conditions are rooted in the safety and well-being of the residents of the house. So.
And, just one more comment. We have the conditions that the board has imposed, reasonable conditions with regards to the special permit, but there are other outstanding non-board related penalties and fines and ongoing. Is there an ongoing case with the courts?
There are multiple ongoing cases
So
with the courts.
I just, I think it's probably best to move forward tonight.
Thank you. Mr. Commissioner, any other comment before we move forward?
Not for me.
Okay, thank you, sir.
May I ask a question?
Go ahead, Mr. Byrne.
If it is decided by this board that we pull his permit, does the building department go and put a cease and desist on the facility?
The building department is in charge of enforcement, including possessing the ability to take that action or take other actions through code enforcement, which may take place through the court system. And enforcement is in the discretion of the building department as the executive branch.
Can I ask the building department what he expects to do?
I need to investigate. I need to think about that and investigate it a little bit. I will be right back.
Okay, got you covered.
So, and I just going to say, that's a process. That's a process not within our purview. So, recognizing that there is one person here, do you wish to make a comment on 69 High Street at all? Thank you, sir. Okay. Then I'm going to ask if there's a motion before the board.
Would that motion be in the form to approve the review?
In the affirmative? Yes.
Okay, so I will make that motion under ZBA 2022-17 to approve the review.
And do we have a second?
Second.
And remembering that a vote for this motion would be a finding that the permit holder has satisfied the conditions and review is no longer necessary. A vote against would be a finding, that he has not satisfied the conditions. All those in favor? All those opposed?
Aye.
Aye. So that motion fails 5-0, resulting in a finding that the permit holder has not satisfied the conditions. Do we have any other motions before the board?
I'll make a motion in the affirmative to revoke the special permit.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. Do we have a second on that motion?
Second.
Any discussion on the motion?
Is that
It's
that's
a
a motion to revoke the permit?
motion to revoke the permit. I'm generally not supposed to let anyone but board members discuss once the motion is on. Will you lay the motion aside for a moment for the building commissioner to speak? Go ahead, sir.
Hey, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. McLaughlin. I'm more just commenting that I believe the assistant city solicitor might be logging into Zoom. So if the board could grant a 2-minute recess just so that she can log into the Zoom in case she has anything on this.
Okay. We will be in recess for 2 minutes. Thank you. All right, the meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals is called back into session from recess. We have our Assistant City Solicitor, Attorney Donna Pollock, with us today. And I believe you are unmuted. Attorney Pollock, you are welcome to make a comment as you wish on 69 High Street.
Thank you very much. With regards to Mr. Summers' request for a continuance, I would just say that this has been an ongoing issue literally since 2015, actually 69 High Street was not since 2015, but we've had an order that he come into compliance with reducing the number of people there for over a year. He was already found in contempt. I came to the last meeting where he indicated that he needed more time to come into compliance, and you gave him time to come into compliance through now. And again, he's here, or he's requesting a continuance in saying that he and his attorney need more time. There are people living in this building, which the building department has deemed unsafe. The contempt fines he owns haven't been paid. He has not corrected the second egress structure, which has been an ongoing issue for well over a year. And this seems to be a pattern that we see from the building department, in the legal department, where he continually comes in and says, just, I need a little bit more time. He has had more than enough time to make his home safe for the people who are living within it. So he has too many people there. The building does not have all of the structures repaired or secured or rebuilt that needed to be. And he hasn't reduced the number of occupants with which the courts told him to do over a year ago. So I don't understand why we would want to give him more time if our concern is the safety of the occupants within the building.
Okay. Thank you for your impassioned comments, Attorney Pollock. We are at the point in the meeting where we had laid before us a motion to revoke the special permit that was set aside to allow for city department comment. If any board member wishes to engage in further discussion before we go back to the motion, please let me know. Seeing none. Would you renew your motion, Attorney, Mr. McLaughlin?
I will reactivate my motion
I just admitted you to the bar.
under ZBA 2022-17 for the property at 69 High Street and the petitioner Jeffrey Summers with the motion to revoke the special permit.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the motion?
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead, Mr. Reynolds.
I know that that's our right, and I'm just looking at page 2 of 2 on ZBA 2217, the paragraph that states the special permit, may be revoked after the hearing with notice to parties in interest and so forth. Do we feel that there's any part of those guidelines that we haven't complied with?
I feel at this point in time, given the notice that he received of the hearing, giving the confirmation through the communication with the building commissioner, that he confirmed that knowledge that there was a hearing tonight, I feel that he has received adequate notice. We have complied with the open meeting law in posting the agenda. That places, subsequent to the initial hearing on a special permit, any and all parties in notice of the hearing. Attorney Pollock, since you're with us, would you contradict that at all? Would you agree as far as the notice?
Yes, I would agree. I believe that this week in emails to the interim building commissioner that he acknowledged that he had notice of this hearing.
Okay. Thank you, Attorney Pollack.
Thank you.
Mr. Commissioner, yes?
Just if the board would like for me to read into the record the email I sent him.
Why don't we take a moment to do that? Thank you.
So February 18th at 2024 at 7:34 p.m., he actually at 5:16 p.m. he wrote, "I was not aware of the ZBA meetings that is scheduled for Tuesday. Am I required to attend?" I responded to him, "Mr. Summers, the meeting is scheduled for Thursday evening at the Legislative Building. I cannot tell you if you should come to the meeting. That is a choice by you, but I cannot give any inclination because I simply do not know if the board will grant your request for continuance. Please let me know if you'll be giving consent and access to all affected areas of the building on February 20th, 2024 at 2:30 p.m. Thank you, Felix." Then I followed up again at 7:34 p.m. stating to him, "Good evening, Mr. Summers. Just to follow up and be more clear, if the continuance is not granted, the review hearing will be held as scheduled Thursday, February 22nd, 2024. It is your decision whether or not to attend. Thank you, Felix."
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Okay. Any other discussion on the motion before vote is taken? That being said, all those in favor of the motion to revoke the special permit for conditions broken?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Passes 5-0. That matter is now concluded. The special permit is revoked. The remaining 3 matters on our agenda tonight are here for informal discussion. And just to explain a little bit, these 3 matters were all scheduled for 6:30 to be heard at any point in time, 6:30 or thereafter. They are here for informal discussions because after the rescheduling from last week, we had to republish notice of the first hearing at least 14 days in advance. There was not sufficient time between then and today, and there was not any other date during the month of February where the legislative building was available for a meeting. So we have offered these 3 matters the opportunity to make an informal presentation or ask questions to the board and attempt to try to offer something to them because we, really regret any delay that may occur in the resolution of their petition. But the board cannot take a vote. This is not a public hearing, and we cannot express our intent to vote for or against any of the petitions. We only have one kind person who has joined us this evening, and that is on ZBA 24-1. This is Nicole and Derek Shell, 493 Pearl Hill Road. This is a request for a special permit to install an 8-foot-high vinyl fence along a portion of the northern edge of the property exceeding the 6-foot height limit pursuant to 181.94, located in the rural residential district. Sir, if you wish to ask a question or make a comment, I'm going to have you do that. And otherwise, the board would not engage in any discussion of the matter. But you're welcome to come up and ask.
Maybe you can't answer my question then.
We might not be able to. And can you please tell me your name and city of residence for the minutes?
My name's Carl Wennerberg. I'm at 505 Pearl Hill Road, which is the closest neighbor on the north side to the Shells concerning the fence. I had a question about the exact specifics of the 8-foot fence. From where to where, or from a concern I had. I don't know if anybody, if you can answer that, or
Would you like to see the application materials with the drawing and specifications submitted by the applicant?
sure, I can.
Do you have an email address that we could forward that to?
Yeah, I can give you that.
Okay. So I think that, again, given you're the only person here, we're going to probably conclude the meeting after you. And if you would just wait a moment and give your email address to Ms. Mata, she can send you a copy of the application.
Okay.
Okay?
Can I make a comment about it?
Go right ahead, sir.
Is anybody looking at that right now? I mean, I won't speak to you, but I was just curious if you're looking at that. My understanding there's going to be a 6 or 8 foot fence that is going to separate us there. My concern is in the back near their shed, exactly where the fence is going. My guess is that it's going to run parallel to the north side of the shed. There is a pump system there. And I was wondering if the fence is going to have an opening at the pump system, or would that be passing straight across so that when the fence is built, then I will no longer see the pump system? That was my biggest point.
Do I take it you would prefer not to see the pump system, sir?
Right.
Okay.
Very honestly, I was not happy when I found out where the pump was going, or when I saw where the pump was. And actually, I'm not here to complain because I think the fence is going to it's going to improve the situation if it's going where I think it's going. It's going to improve the situation, and that's a good thing. And it also could lessen the noise, which is another good thing. So my closing statement was going to be that if I clarified it or found out that it was going where I think it's going, then I would be okay with the 8-foot fence
Okay.
being there.
Thank you, sir.
Sure.
So I am going to, after the meeting is over, hand you Ms. Mata's card, which contains her email address. You're welcome to email her and ask for a copy of the application, which would include the plan with the depiction. And then you may do nothing. If you look at it and are fine with it, that's up to you. You can make an electronic comment back to her, again by email, and it would be read into the next meeting. Or you may appear at the next meeting, and that is scheduled for March 12th, which is a Tuesday. And I don't know that I would be able to tell you the time right now because I don't have the agenda in front of me. But Ms. Mata can also confirm that to you over the email. Okay? Thank you very much. We appreciate your appearing to make comment.
Sure.
So we have a copy here also if you want to step to the end. And go ahead, Mr. Commissioner.
I was going to offer, if you want, I can share on the screen so you can see on the TV screen a little better copy than the one that you have.
Yeah, and he can still get the electronic one, so I think that's the best view. Okay. So it's at 7 o'clock. Great. Okay. So at this point in time, I'm going to say is anyone here to make any comment on 180 Main Street, ZBA 23-40? Is anyone here to make any comment on 447 Water Street, ZBA 23-39? I see no one present, and I see... if you are online and you wish to ask a question regarding either of those two cases, please raise your hand. We see none. All right. Given that we have no more requests for informal discussion, I'm going to look for a motion to conclude our meeting today.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second, but I'd like to say goodnight to all the zonies out there.
All right. And I'd like to thank Mr. Byrne for always joining us and making our evening wonderful. All right, then all those in favor of the motion to adjourn? Aye. None opposed. We are adjourned. Everyone have a great evening.